Welcome to the class on pulse width modulation techniques of inverters. In the name itself, it is a pulse width modulation technique. Pulse width modulation technique. Nothing but we are controlling the width of the pulse to control the output voltage. The voltage across the load we are controlling by controlling the width of the pulse. In a conventional inverter, if you see the output voltage waveform, this is the IG1, this is the IG2. We have given a continuous pulse up to the 180 degrees, remaining 180 degrees. We are given the pulse to the second switch. This is S1, this is S2. If the S1 is on, the output voltage is positive, that is equal to Vs by 2. Because this is connected to the load. The S2 is on, the output voltage is negative. Output voltage is negative, that is minus Vs by 2. This is the output voltage. In this case, we are assuming that the switch is on 180 degrees. So the output voltage has some RMS voltage. Now, in this case, nothing but in pulse width modulation technique, how we are going to control the output voltage. This control technique is nothing but a internal control of a inverter. Nothing but we are controlling the on and off time of the switches, so that we are going to control the output voltage. So in this case, it is a fixed voltage. Now we want the variable voltage. Next, we can also control this frequency. Suppose if we take the frequency is 50 Hz, the time period is 0.02. Nothing but the total time period is 0.02. Now this half cycle becomes a 0.01. This is 0.01. We are maintaining like that, so that the frequency of output voltage is 50 Hz. Suppose if you want the 60 Hz, similarly you have to calculate the time period. Then you have to maintain the time duration of the S1 as well as S2 to get the 60 Hz. Like that, you have to maintain the on time of the S1 and S2 so that to get the desired frequency. Now, practically, how we are going to change this RMS voltage as well as the frequency, that we are going to discuss now. How it is going to change means, there is one technique is there, internal control technique. Under the internal control technique, this pulse width modulation technique. This is a well-noted technique. Generally, we are using this is only the for practical implementation. Almost 90% we are using this one. These are the switches. These switches requires a base voltage S1 as well as S2. D1, D2 are nothing but a feedback diodes. This is the Vs by 2. This is the Vs by 2. There are two sources are there. Now we want to apply the pulse to the S1 as well as S2, so that we can control the output voltage. See how we are going to generate these pulses means by means of a comparator and logic circuit. It has a two inputs. One is reference signal, another one is a carrier signal. So depending on the logic circuit, it makes output 1 or 0, so that this triggering circuit will giving the pulses to the S1 as well as the S2. During positive cycle, this triggering circuit is giving the pulse to the S1. During negative cycle, this triggering circuit is giving pulse to the S2. This triggering circuit will be activated by this comparator and logic circuit. Comparator and logic circuit. Now here, in a pulse width modulation technique, there are three techniques are there. One is single pulse width modulation technique. Single pulse width modulation technique. Modulation technique. The second one is the multiple pulse width modulation technique. Multiple pulse width modulation technique. Third one is the sinusoidal pulse width modulation. Sinusoidal pulse width modulation. Simply writing as a PW. So total thing you can write it as a SPWM. This is multiple MPWM. This simply called as a single pulse. Now first let me see the single pulse width modulation technique. Next we are going for the multiple pulse width modulation technique. Lastly, why you are going for the sinusoidal pulse width modulation technique? One by one you go to stay. Now if you take a single pulse width modulation technique, in this technique, how we are going to generate this voltage, base voltage to S1 and S2 means, in off cycle, only one pulse is there. The width of the pulse we are going to control the output voltage. To control the output voltage. Here, reference signal is there. Same manner, carrier signal is there. The reference signal is nothing but a rectangular wave. So this is black one. This is rectangle. Carrier signal is nothing but a triangular waveform. The triangular wave. This triangular waveform is nothing but a. This is carrier signal. This is the reference signal. VC is nothing but the amplitude of the carrier signal that we are denoting as VC. VR is nothing but the amplitude of reference signal. Here, we are giving the two signals to the comparator. In the logic circuit, we are written that if the magnitude of the reference signal is greater than that, if the magnitude of VR is greater than that, VC, then output is 1. One seat is 1 means then the technical circuit is giving the first to the S1 if it is a positive cycle. If it is a positive cycle. Now, that is happen from this point to, if you observe here, from this time to this time. Nothing but this is the pulse which is generated the technical circuit that is given to the IG1. Next, during negative cycle, again, the output of the comparator is 1 from this instant to this instant due to the negative cycle. So this pulse is given to the S2. Now this pulse is given to the S2. So depending upon the whether input voltage is positive or negative, the pulses are generated of the technical circuit. It is fed to the base of the switches S1 as well as the S2. So here we can call it the IG. Now, from 0 to this point, the base voltage 0, the S1 is off, so the output voltage is 0 from this point to this. Now, at this point, the base voltage we are applying to the S1, so the output voltage becomes a Vs by 2. So, what are the magnitude of Vs by 2? That we have to draw, take to here. Again, up to this instant, this is 0. Again, this instant is 0. Again, this is the here S2 is on. Once the S2 is on, again the load is subject to negative voltage. So that we are trying here. This is the minus Vs by 2. So this is Vs by 2. This is minus Vs by 2. If we take the total time period, is T. This is the T by 2. This is the T. Now in this case, previously the positive voltage from the 0 to T by 2. But in this case, the positive voltage only from this point to this point. So the width of the pulses we are changing to control the output voltage. To control the output voltage. But frequency is same. The frequency of the output voltage is same as the frequency of carrier signal. Frequency of the carrier. Suppose if you want the output voltage is 50 Hz, then you have to select the carrier signal as a 50 Hz. Suppose if you want the 30 Hz here, now you have to select the carrier signal. Sorry. So reference signal. Extremely sorry here. If you want the output voltage 60 Hz, then you have to select the frequency of the reference signal is 60 Hz. If it is 50, then it is 50. Suppose if you want the 30 Hz output voltage, then you have to select the frequency of reference signal is the 30 Hz. So how much frequency we need at output voltage depending upon that, only you have to select the frequency of the reference signal. Frequency of the reference signal. Next, one more point here is that how we are going to control this width. To control this width, modulation, amplitude modulation index is there. How we are going to define this amplitude modulation index means it is defined as ratio between Vc by Vr. This is amplitude modulation index. Simply we are calling it modulation index also. Magnitude of Vc, nothing but amplitude of AC. This is nothing but this peak divided by Vr. This is almost all this is less than 1. Suppose in this case, you have taken this one, this height. So we are getting this much, this region, you are getting the pulse. So output voltage also follows the pulse which is applied to the S1. Suppose if you increasing this height further, then this width will be, what happens? This width will be decreases. This width will be decreases. So here the width of the pulse will be decreases. Suppose if your modulation index decreases, mathematically we are decreasing this height to the VR. Then as per this logic, you are getting the pulse from the omega t equal to 0 to t by 2. Omega t equal to 0 to, from this point to this point, we are getting the pulse to the S1. So the full voltage we are getting. So the output voltage also, here the full base current we are getting, or base voltage we are getting. So the output voltage also the full. So RMS output voltage will be more. So by changing the magnitude of the Vc with respect to the R, we can control the width of the pulse, which is controlling the output voltage of a waveform. This is the output voltage. Output voltage of the waveform. See here, by controlling this width, we can control the RMS output voltage. That we can control by means of a modulation index. Modulation index is defined as a ratio between the amplitude of the carrier signal to the reference signal. Amplitude of carrier signal to the reference signal. Next, how we're going to control this frequency means by changing the frequency of the reference signal. How much frequency we are maintaining for the reference signal, the same amount of output voltage we are getting at the load. The main disadvantage of this is that if you see this waveform, it is symmetrical about the x-axis. How the positive cycle is the same manner negative cycle is there. Next, it is also symmetrical about this time period T by 4. Suppose if you take this 90 degrees, it's also symmetrical about 90 degrees. So it is consisting of some amount of the harmonics along with the fundamental. Suppose for getting the less voltage, I have to decrease this width. When you're decreasing this width, the fundamental component is almost always equal to the low frequency harmonic magnitudes. Low frequency harmonic magnitudes. Nothing but if we analyze the Fourier analysis for this waveform, it is consisting of 1, 3, 5, 7 like that odd harmonics. 3, 5, 7 are the low frequency components. The fundamental component and the low magnitude of the low frequency components almost all equal if you go for the less RMS output voltage. So that's why we're going for the multiple pulse width modulation. Multiple pulse width modulation. In case of multiple pulse width modulation, this one. In off cycle, multiple pulses are generated. Multiple pulses are generated. So how we are going to generate these multiple pulses means, here we have taken the carrier signal as a triangular. But here also we have taken the carrier signal as triangular, but its frequency will be different. More frequency. Because the time period will be lesser. So frequency will be more. This type of triangular waveform we have taken. Now we are comparing this type of triangular signal we are giving here. The reference signal is rectangular. Now we are writing the logic such a way that the logic circuit is there. How we are going to write that logic means, if the VR is greater than the VR is ultimate reference voltage is greater than the carrier signal, then output voltage is, then output is 1 here. Once it is 1, the triggering circuit is giving pulse to the S1 or S2 depending upon the positive cycle of the reference signal or the negative cycle of the reference. So in this interval from the 0 to T by 2, it is a positive cycle. So the triggering circuit is giving a pulse only to the S1 only. So from this line. So when it is more means, see from this point to this point. So Ig1 becomes a, if you try the gate current to the, this is the pulse to the Ig1. Again from this point to this point, the reference signal is more in this way. You can write anyway the logic. Suppose here we can write the carrier signal is more than the reference signal. Carrier signal is more than the reference signal. Suppose if you take the, anyway we can write it here. That is depending upon requirement. That is depending upon our requirement. Suppose here I have taken the VR is greater than the VC, so we got only the 2 pulses within the off cycle. Suppose if we write VC is greater than VR, then the output is 1. Then the output is 1. In that manner, if we write the programming in the logic circuit means, now how we are getting these pulses means, now the pulse will be appear at this point. See, observe carefully. See the duration in which the carrier is more than the carrier signal is more than the VR. The same manner here. Here. Like that, we're getting the 3 pulses, equal pulse width. The same manner, if we draw for the negative cycle here, we'll get a this is the T, this is the T, this is the first IC 2. Now, if we draw the output voltage waveform, the S1 is on because it is goes to the S1, this is goes to the S2. The S1 is on, the output voltage becomes a Vs by 2 in this interval. This is the Vs by 2. So Vs by 2. Again here, S2 is on, the output voltage becomes a minus Vs by 2. Now, if you compare this, this waveform and this waveform, this is single pulse width modulation, but it is the multiple pulse width modulation. So when you go for the multiple pulse width modulation, the RMS output voltage also we can control, but the magnitude of the low frequency harmonics will be decreasing when compared to the single pulse width modulation. But the fundamental component also will be decreases less than this case, less than the single pulse width modulation. So that's why we're going for the multiple pulse width modulation. When you go for the multiple pulse width modulation, the magnitude of low frequency component, nothing but 3, 5, 7, 9 components will be decreasing. That magnitude will be decreasing. But high frequency compounds will be introducing into this waveform. High frequency compounds are introducing. That is the main disadvantage. That is the disadvantage. But we are not going to consider the high frequency compound as a disadvantage, because at a high frequency you can easily design the filter so that you can filter out the high frequency compound. The cost of the filter also will be lesser at high frequency. Only the problem is with a low frequency compound. But when you go for the multiple pulse width modulation, the magnitude of low frequency compound will be decreasing, but it introduces the high frequency component, but it is not going to affect the load because you can easily filter that high frequency component. Now come to the sinusoidal pulse width modulation. If we compare the first one, second one means here the single pulse, but here the multiple pulse with equal width. Sinusoidal. Now we are going to see the sinusoidal pulse width modulation technique. That is the third one. In the sinusoidal pulse width modulation, the width of the pulse, here we have seen the 3 pulses. This width of the pulse as a function of a sine in a positive cycle as well as a negative cycle. So what is the meaning of the function of sine means? If we observe the sine wave, the magnitude of the sine wave, see this is the sine wave. So this is 90 degrees, this is 180 degrees. At 90 degrees, the width is amplitude is more. So the width of the pulse which is near to the 90 degrees is more width, and near to the 0 and 180 degrees, the width of the pulse is lesser. That is possible only if we take the reference signal as a sinusoidal signal. Sinusoidal signal. Now that we are going to see here. It is also coming under the multiple pulse width modulation. This is sinusoidal pulse width modulation. Here the reference signal is sine wave, carrier signal is triangular wave. Again we are writing the logic circuit here, comparator as well as the logic circuit. We are writing the logic such a way that VR is, if VR is greater than the VC, magnitude of VC, then output is 1, otherwise 0. So if the output is 1, here the triggering circuit will be activated. If the output is 0, then the triggering circuit will be deactivated. It's not giving any supply power pulse to the switches. The S1 will be activated by the triggering circuit during the positive cycle. S2 will be activated by the triggering circuit during the negative cycle. Same. Now, based upon this logic, if we draw the gate current to the first switch, this is S1. In this interval, it is more. Again, in this interval, reference signal is more. So, this is the pulse. Here, more reference signal. So, this is the pulse. Again, here, more. But with the pulse will be lesser. Here, further decreases. The same thing if you continue the negative cycle, the S2 is getting the pulses here. From this point to this point, again it is reference magnitude is more, again here more, width also more. Again in this interval, again here. If you draw the output voltage waveform, you see the S1 is on, so output voltage is Vs by 2. Again here S1 is on, the output voltage is Vs by 2. In this interval, no switch is conducting. In this manner, you see closely. Here negative cycle, S2 is on. So the output voltage is minus Vs by 2. Here the output voltage is minus Vs by 2. Again here, this is one interval, half cycle. This is T by 2. This is T. If you observe the positive cycle, the width of the pulse which is near to the 90 degrees is more. Away from the 90 degrees, the width of the pulse will be decreased. That's why we're calling it a sinusoidal pulse width modulation technique. So when you use the sinusoidal pulse width modulation technique, high frequency compounds will be presented. That also will be removed, but the magnitude will be decreases, and a fundamental compound will be improved when compared to the multiple pulse width modulation, and low frequency compounds also will be decreases. See, here I am writing fundamental compound will be increased, low frequency harmonics decreases, magnitude, high frequency is come to 0. Almost that magnitude will be decreased. We can neglect that high frequency compound. Generally, we are using the sinusoidal pulse width modulation This is a well-known technique to control the output voltage of an inverter. Already we know that to control, suppose if you want to change this frequency, mean you have to change the frequency of the reference signal. Here also you can define the modulation index. By changing the modulation index, you can control the, it is always lesser, it is always lesser. By changing this modulation technique, you can control the RMS output voltage of the fundamental component. Fundamental. This is once again telling, once again repeating that the sinusoidal pulse width modulation technique is a well noted and a practically implemented control technique of the inverter. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much.